أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما أشهدتهم خلق السماوات والأرض ولا خلق أنفسهم وما كنت متخذ المضلين عضدا Surah-Al-Kahfi, Surah number 18, ayat number 51. We are again at a very important juncture of Surah Kahf, Surah-Al-Kahfi. This verse number 51, marks the beginning of message number 4. So this is intermediary message 3. If you remember the structure of the surah, so message and story alternates. So we have already covered 3 messages and 3 stories. This is message number 4. There was an introductory message, so this is intermediary message 3. But overall, it's message number 4. So this verse, though it marks the beginning of message number 4, this will actually reference back to the previous verse, which was one verse, but it covers the entire story, which we discussed in our last in the discussion to the last verse. So it references that. So remember how it talked about Iblis, and do you take him and his progeny as your awliya, as your protective friends? So in reference to that, it says, Ma ashadtuhum, ma is no, ashhadtu is I made witness, hum is the attached pronoun them, I made them witness. Ma is no, so I didn't make them witness. What did I not make them witness? Khalqa, the creation, as-samawati, of the samawat, wal ardi, and the ard. Samawat and ard we have discussed before. We will not repeat that discussion. It's there in one of the previous verses, and we have elaborated that, discussed that in details over there. Suffices it to say or remind you that this is not heavens and the earth. That is a wrong translation. That is a massively erroneous translation. So after that we have wala. So normally if we have ma and la in the same sentence, then ma, though this is the standard way to negate, will have an added connotation of emphasis in the negation. So that is why I have added the word definitely. I definitely did not make them witness the creation of the samawat and the earth. Wala, and not even khalqa, the creation, anfusihim, of their own selves. Could say their own souls, their souls. That is an okay translation, because nafs and ruh are different. Nafs is soul and ruh is spirit, but sometimes we use it even in English language interchangeably. So it makes sense to sort of have that terminology sort of more distinct so that there is no confusion as such. And not even the creation of their own selves. Wama, and the last part is again a bit tricky. Wa and ma is no again. Kuntu, so kana and kuntu. Kuntu is the I form for kana, was, he was. I was. But this is in reference to Allah. And remember, what do we do when it is in reference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We don't translate kana as was, but something like is or has been. So we'll do that similarly. Wama kuntu, and I have never been, because ma is there, right? And because of the word ma, I've added that emphasis. So I have not been, I have never been. Now the last part is a bit tricky, not in terms of understanding the construct, that's the easy part, but in terms of how do we translate this part. And this is one of those instances where I am not happy with my own translation. Do I mean to suggest that the existing translations are better? No way. They may sound more natural in the English language, but from the construct point of view, they do not capture those connotations or constructs the way the Arabic has been presented to us. So what do we do in this case? I'll explain. You will understand fully well the Arabic, and then I will tell you why I have translated the way I have, and why you will then perhaps begin to appreciate why it's difficult to translate it in a different manner. There is loss of, what do I say, the loss of connotation, I should say, if I were to put it that way. Muttakhidha. This is the ism file pattern. So this pattern is the doer or the one who does. So the taker or the one who takes. Al-Muzillina. Now remember, Zolla wala Zollin, Zolla, the same root word. Normally we translate as the lost, but the taker of the lost, the one who takes. How do we translate this? Because this is an idafa construct, right? So an off comes in between. The one who takes the misguiders, the one who takes the lost, then you are not able to put the word off in between, right? If you do it this way, the taker of the lost, then it is able to preserve the construct wise. But then there is one more thing. The one who takes, then you cannot put the off again. Of the one who takes of the misguiders doesn't make sense. The one who takes the misguiders, but then you're not able to insert the off. So what I've done is I have never been the taker, though it sounds odd in the English language, I've never been the taker of the misguiders other than for assistance. Okay, and remember one more thing, misguiders, I know that the better term would be the lost, but how do we fit the term lost over here? I've never been the taker of the lost, who themselves are lost. We can understand, we can perceive what is being conveyed over here, but in this case specifically, the translation misguiders is not very incorrect. It sort of gives a sense of what it's trying to convey, because it references the jinn kind and the shayateen among the jinn kind. And my interpretation is that by extension it includes the shayateen among the humankind as well. So that is it, being the taker of the misguiders for assistance. If you translate it as helpers, but adudan is singular. So some people have said that the representative translation seems to be have never taken is verb. It's not ism file pattern. I've never taken the misguiders. I've never taken those who misguide as helpers, but helpers is an ism file pattern, helper. But this is a concept. Adudan is a concept. So that's why I've translated for assistance instead of as helpers, assistance. So I know this part is a bit odd in the English language. I've never been the taker of the misguiders for assistance, but you understand fully well now why I translate this way, to preserve the construct. Taker of the misguiders, the izafa is preserved, and adudan for assistance, that concept is also preserved that way. So that is it then. As I said, samawat and earth, obviously we do not translate it as the heavens and the earth. That's a massively flawed translation. And what it does, samawat and earth, mean, I have explained. In short, it means the dimensions and the matter energy continuum. But reading in the English language may sound a bit odd, so I have just maintained the term samawat and earth. And when you read it, you have that at the back of your mind, the meanings of samawat and earth. So that way we do full justice to the translation. So ma, as I said, is a stronger negation. La is also negation, and ma comes back. So that is why I have added never instead of not to indicate that stronger negation. So we'll read it one more time. Ma ashhadtuhum khalqas samawati wal ardi wala khalqa anfusihim wama kuntu muttakhidha al-muzillina azudan. I definitely did not make them witness the creation of the samawat and the earth, and not even the creation of their own selves, and have never been the taker of the misguiders for assistance. And whom is it in reference to? I have never made them witness the creation of the samawat and the earth, and not even the creation of their own selves. Is talking about, as I said, primarily in reference to the previous verse. Though this is a message, it refers to the previous verse, which refers to the story number 3. This is message number 4, by the way, as I have mentioned. So Iblis and his progeny, the shayateen among them, because among the jinns there could be good jinns and bad jinns. So this is in reference to the bad jinns, evil jinns. And also one more thing, by extension, it can also include the shayateen among the humankind. So both the jinn kind and the humankind is is what is implied over here by extension of analogy, by extension of logic. That's it. Then we will continue with message number 4 in the next verse also. For the next few verses, we'll have this message number 4 before we move on to story number 4.